Most change feels hard. It feels like effort, like struggle, like forcing yourself to become someone new. But what if change did not need effort at all? What if your mind could shift quietly, gently, while you rest, while you sleep? Your mind is open. Defenses are low. Noise fades away. In that quiet space, new patterns can form. New beliefs can settle in. Without pressure, without resistance. This audiobook is designed for that space. A calm space, a safe space. You do not need to focus. You do not need to try. Just listen and let the words pass through you. Some changes happen loudly. Others happen silently. The silent ones last longer. If you want to continue this journey with me, subscribe to this channel now. More sleep-friendly audiobooks like this are released here regularly. Now relax, let go, and allow change to begin. Chapter 1. The mind learns best when you are resting. When you sleep, your mind does not shut down. It changes how it works. During the day, your mind is busy. It analyzes, it judges, it protects you. At night, those defenses soften. Thoughts slow down. Awareness turns inward. The noise fades. This is why rest is powerful. Your conscious mind steps back. Your deeper mind steps forward. This deeper part of you is always listening. It records patterns. It absorbs tone. It responds to repetition. It does not argue. It does not resist. It learns quietly. Many people try to change their lives through force. They push themselves. They pressure themselves. They fight old habits. This creates tension. Tension creates resistance. Resistance slows change. But when the body rests, resistance drops. Sleep is not empty time. It is receptive time. Your mind becomes more open to suggestion, not in a dramatic way, in a natural way. This is how beliefs form early in life. Through repetition, through calm exposure, through emotional safety. You did not learn who you were by effort. You absorbed it. The same process can create new realities. When you listen while resting, your mind connects ideas gently. It does not analyze each word. It feels the meaning. Meaning settles deeper than logic. Your nervous system relaxes. Relaxation signals safety. Safety allows learning. This is why stressed minds struggle to change. Stress tells the brain to protect. Protection resists new ideas. Rest tells the brain to open. As you listen now, nothing is required of you. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to remember anything. Your deeper mind does that for you. Words pass through awareness. Some fade, some stay. The ones that stay are the ones you are ready for. Change does not need effort. It needs alignment. Alignment happens when your inner state matches the message. Sleep creates that state. Your breathing slows. Your muscles soften. Your thoughts drift. In this state, your mind reorganizes itself. Old patterns loosen. New connections form. This happens naturally every night. You are simply guiding the direction. Think of your mind like water. When it is calm, it reflects clearly. When it is disturbed, it scatters. Sleep calms the water. In calm water, new reflections appear easily. You may notice moments of drifting, moments where words blur, moments where awareness fades. This is not a problem. This is the process working. Your conscious attention does not need to stay awake. Your deeper mind stays present, even when you sleep. That is why you may wake up feeling different without knowing why. A lighter mood, a clearer sense, a softer reaction. These changes feel subtle, but they accumulate. Reality changes do not always arrive suddenly. They often arrive quietly. A new response replaces an old one. A calm moment appears where tension used to be. A choice feels easier. These are signs of internal shift. Your mind is always learning. Sleep simply removes friction. As you rest, your identity loosens. You are not trying to be anything. You are simply being. In this state, new ideas do not threaten who you are. They integrate. Integration is powerful. It means change happens without conflict. No inner battle. No exhaustion. Just adjustment. You may wonder how listening can change reality. Reality begins inside. Your reactions shape outcomes. Your expectations shape perception. Your beliefs shape decisions. When beliefs shift, behavior shifts. When behavior shifts, reality follows, not through force, through alignment. Listening while sleeping is not about control, it is about permission. Permission for your mind to update itself. Your mind wants balance, it wants coherence, it wants ease. When given the right environment, it moves toward those naturally. This audiobook creates that environment. A steady voice, a calm rhythm, gentle ideas, nothing demanding, nothing urgent. Urgency creates tension. Tension blocks learning. Calm invites acceptance. As you rest, your mind connects safety with new thoughts. This matters. When safety is present, change feels natural. You do not need to believe everything you hear. Belief is not required. Exposure is enough. Your mind filters what fits. What does not fit simply passes. There is no risk here, only gentle influence. You may drift in and out of awareness. You may wake briefly. You may sleep deeply. All of it works. There is no correct way to listen. Your only role is to rest. Rest is not passive. It is active healing. Your nervous system repairs itself during sleep. Your mind organizes memory. Your emotional load lightens. When these systems are supported, clarity emerges. Clarity changes perception. Perception changes experience. This is how inner shifts affect outer life. You may notice that certain worries feel distant. Certain fears feel less gripping. This is not because they disappeared. It is because your relationship to them changed. Relationship determines impact. A calm relationship reduces power. As nights pass, repetition strengthens new pathways. Your mind learns through consistency. Listening regularly builds familiarity. Familiarity feels safe. Safety deepens. Change. There is no rush. Reality does not need to be fixed overnight. Gentle shifts last longer than forced change. Your mind understands rhythm. It responds to patterns. Night after night, calm messages soften old beliefs, not through argument, through presence. Presence is powerful. You do not need to monitor progress. Monitoring wakes the analytical mind. Trust the process. Trust your mind's intelligence. It knows how to integrate what you need. Some nights you may feel nothing. Other nights you may feel subtle warmth or ease. Do not search for results. Searching creates effort. Effort creates tension. Let listening be background. Background influence is often the strongest. Like music shaping mood without attention. Your deeper mind notices tone more than content. That is why calm delivery matters. That is why pacing matters. Your mind mirrors what it hears. Calm voice, calm body, calm body. Open mind, new patterns. This is the cycle. As you rest now, allow your body to soften. Let your jaw relax. Let your shoulders drop. If thoughts appear, let them pass. You do not need to push them away. Thoughts fade naturally when not fed. Your breath finds its rhythm. Slow, easy. This rhythm supports integration. Integration means you do not have to remember lessons. They become part of you. Like language you speak without thinking. Change becomes effortless when it is integrated. Effortless change feels normal. Normal feels stable. Stability reshapes reality. Over time, you may notice choices feel different. Reactions soften. Confidence appears quietly. Not because you forced it, because your mind learned a new baseline. Baselines shape experience. A calm baseline creates a calmer life. This audiobook is not here to command your mind. It is here to accompany it, to create an atmosphere where change is welcome. Your mind does the work. You rest. This partnership is powerful. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. As you continue listening in future chapters, ideas will deepen. But for now, rest is enough. Rest allows learning. Learning allows change. Change unfolds naturally. Let sleep take over. Let words fade into the background. Your mind is listening, and it knows what to do. Chapter 2. Why effort often blocks real change. Most people believe change requires effort. They believe it takes force. They believe it takes constant pushing. This belief is common. It is also misleading. Effort works well for short tasks. It helps you lift something heavy. It helps you focus for a moment. But effort is not how deep change happens. Deep change happens beneath awareness. When you try to change through force, your mind reacts. It tightens. It resists. Resistance is natural. Your mind's job is to protect what feels familiar. Even if familiar patterns are uncomfortable, they feel safe. Effort feels like pressure. Pressure feels like threat. Threat activates defense. Defense blocks learning. This is why many people start strong and then stop. They use willpower. They push. They exhaust themselves. Exhaustion leads to frustration. Frustration reinforces old beliefs. Old beliefs regain control. This cycle is not failure. It is biology. Your nervous system does not respond well to force. It responds to safety. Safety signals allow openness. Openness allows reorganization. This is why gentle repetition works better than pressure. Think about how habits form naturally. You do not force them. They develop through exposure. Language is learned this way. You heard words repeatedly. You absorbed them. No effort. No struggle. Your mind prefers this method. When you sleep, effort disappears. The part of you that tries to control relaxes. The part that absorbs becomes active. This is the ideal state for change. Effort creates tension in the body. Tension narrows attention. Narrow attention limits perception. Limited perception blocks new possibilities. Rest widens perception. Widened perception allows choice. Choice changes behavior. Another reason effort fails is emotional fatigue. Trying constantly drains energy. Drained energy weakens consistency. Consistency matters more than intensity. Gentle repetition over time reshapes patterns. Your mind learns through rhythm. Rhythm feels safe. Safety allows integration. Effort also strengthens identity conflict. You try to become someone new. Another part of you resists. This inner conflict creates stress. Stress slows change. When you listen while resting, identity softens. You are not trying to become anything. You are simply receiving. Receiving bypasses resistance. This is why change feels easier later without effort. You may wake up thinking differently, reacting differently, not because you decided to, because your baseline shifted. Baselines control behavior. When baseline stress lowers, choices expand. This expansion feels like freedom. Freedom does not require effort. It emerges when constraints dissolve. Effort tightens constraints. Rest loosens them. Another misunderstanding is thinking effort equals commitment. People fear that ease means laziness. Ease is not laziness. Ease is alignment. When something aligns with your system, it feels natural. Natural change lasts longer. Forced change fades quickly. Your mind prefers coherence. It looks for patterns that fit existing structures. When new ideas arrive gently, the mind integrates them. Integration does not feel dramatic. It feels normal. Normal is powerful. Normal shapes daily behavior. Daily behavior shapes reality. This is why listening while sleeping works over time, not instantly, not forcefully, gradually. Gradual change avoids backlash. Backlash happens when change feels imposed. Imposed change triggers defense. Defended systems revert. Gentle change invites cooperation. Your mind cooperates when it feels safe. Safety is created by tone, by rhythm, by repetition, not by urgency. Urgency signals danger. Danger signals resistance. Resistance blocks change. This is the cycle you are stepping out of. You are not abandoning effort forever. You are placing it where it belongs. Effort is useful for action, not for identity change. Identity change happens through exposure and rest. When you change how you see yourself, behavior follows. When behavior follows, effort decreases. Life feels lighter. This audiobook works in the background. Background influence is subtle. Subtle influence lasts. You do not need to focus. You do not need to try. Your deeper mind absorbs patterns of calm and possibility. Over time, these patterns replace tension. Tension fades quietly. Quiet change feels effortless. That is how reality begins to shift, not through force, through allowance. As you rest now, notice the absence of pressure. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to prove. Your mind is learning simply by listening, and learning without effort is the most natural kind of change there is. Chapter 3. How repetition rewrites your inner reality. Your mind learns through repetition, not through force, not through argument. Repetition is quiet, it is gentle, it works in the background. Every belief you carry today was built this way. You were not convinced once. You were exposed many times. Small moments, repeated signals, familiar tones. Over time, they became normal. Normal became truth. This is how inner reality forms. Your inner reality is not created by one event. It is shaped by patterns. Patterns tell your mind what to expect. Expectations shape perception. Perception shapes experience. This is why repetition matters. When you hear the same message calmly, your mind stops questioning it. It stops analyzing. It begins accepting. Acceptance does not mean agreement. It means familiarity. Familiarity feels safe. Safety allows integration. When something integrates, it becomes part of your baseline. Your baseline controls how you react without thinking. It controls how you feel when something unexpected happens. It controls how you respond under pressure. It controls what feels possible. Changing the baseline changes reality. The repetition does this quietly. During sleep, repetition becomes even more powerful. Your analytical mind rests. Your deeper mind stays active. This deeper mind does not argue. It does not debate meaning. It absorbs patterns. Tone matters more than logic here. A calm voice signals safety. A steady rhythm signals stability. Stability tells the mind it is okay to update. This is why repetition must be gentle. Forceful repetition creates tension. Tension blocks learning. Gentle repetition creates ease. Ease opens pathways. Your mind updates itself when it feels no threat. This is how habits form without effort. Think about how you developed preferences. Music you enjoy, foods you like. Exposure created familiarity. Familiarity created comfort. Comfort created preference. Beliefs work the same way. When you hear calming ideas repeatedly, your mind begins to expect calm. Expectation shapes interpretation. Events that once felt overwhelming feel manageable. Not because events changed, because your internal response did. This is the power of repetition. It changes your inner environment. Your outer world reacts to your inner state. A calmer inner state leads to clearer choices. Clearer choices lead to better outcomes, not through effort, through alignment. Repetition also softens old beliefs. Old beliefs are not removed. They lose dominance. When new patterns appear consistently, old ones fade. This fading is natural. Your mind prefers what feels current. Current patterns replace outdated ones. This does not feel dramatic. It feels subtle. You may not notice changes day to day, but over time, reactions shift. You pause instead of panic. You breathe instead of rush. You respond instead of react. These small changes accumulate. Accumulation transforms reality. Repetition works best when you are not watching it. Observation brings effort. Effort brings control. Control interrupts the process. Sleep removes control. That is why listening while sleeping is effective. You are not trying to change. You are allowing change. Allowance invites cooperation. Your mind cooperates when not pressured. Another important aspect of repetition is consistency. Consistency does not mean intensity. It means regular exposure. Short, calm exposure repeated over time reshapes patterns. This mirrors how the brain builds neural pathways. Paths strengthen with use. Unused paths weaken. When you repeatedly hear calm messages, calm pathways strengthen. Stress pathways weaken naturally, not through fighting, through neglect. What you do not feed fades. This is gentle transformation. Your mind is designed for this. You are not forcing anything unnatural. You are using the system as it works best. Repetition also reduces emotional charge. Ideas that once felt threatening feel neutral. Neutral ideas can be examined without fear. Fear blocks change. Neutrality allows movement. Movement leads to growth. Another subtle effect of repetition is trust. Your mind begins to trust the tone it hears regularly. Trust opens deeper layers. Deeper layers hold long-standing beliefs. These beliefs shape identity. Identity shapes reality. Changing identity through repetition feels effortless. Effort is not required because there is no conflict. Conflict arises when change feels sudden. Repetition avoids suddenness. It introduces change slowly. A slow change feels safe. Safe change lasts. This is why listening regularly matters more than listening intensely. Intensity activates alertness. Alertness activates analysis. Analysis resists change. Gentle repetition bypasses analysis. Your mind accepts without debate. You may fall asleep before words finish. That is fine. Your deeper mind continues receiving patterns. Sleep does not block learning, it enhances it. Your mind organizes information during sleep. It connects ideas in new ways. This reorganization supports integration. Integration is when change becomes natural. Natural change does not feel like effort. It feels like you. You may notice that certain worries lose strength. Certain thoughts feel distant. This is not suppression. It is replacement. New patterns occupy space. Old patterns have less room. Reality reflects this shift. Interactions feel smoother. Decisions feel easier. Not because life changed, because your baseline did. Repetition also builds emotional familiarity. Calm becomes familiar. Safety becomes familiar. Familiar emotions feel normal. Normal emotions guide behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. This chain is powerful. All without effort. All through exposure. You do not need to believe in repetition for it to work. Your mind responds to it naturally. Belief is a conscious process. Repetition works unconsciously. That is why it is effective during sleep. Your mind is open. As you rest now, repetition continues its quiet work. You do not need to notice it. You do not need to track progress. Trust the process. Your mind knows how to adapt. It has done this your entire life. You are simply guiding the direction. Let the words pass gently. Let repetition do what it does best. Rewrite inner reality softly, and allow outer reality to follow. Chapter 4: The Subconscious Mind and Quiet Transformation. There is a part of your mind that works without words. It does not speak loudly. It does not argue. It observes. It records. It shapes behavior quietly. This is often called the subconscious mind. You do not need to fully understand it for it to work. It has been working your entire life. It stores emotional patterns. It stores reactions. It stores expectations. These stored patterns guide your daily experience. Most of the time, you are not aware of them. They operate in the background. Background processes feel automatic. Automatic responses shape reality. When something happens, you react before you think. That reaction comes from stored patterns. These patterns were not chosen consciously. They were absorbed. Tone, environment, repetition. This is how the subconscious learns. It learns through feeling more than logic. This is why calm matters. A calm tone tells the subconscious that something is safe. Safe information is allowed in. Threatening information is blocked. During the day, your conscious mind filters information. It questions. It resists. At night, that filter relaxes. The subconscious becomes more accessible. This is not magic. It is natural rhythm. Sleep shifts control. When control loosens, learning deepens. Quiet transformation happens here. Transformation does not need awareness to occur. It needs consistency. Your subconscious does not need instructions. It responds to environment. A calm voice, a steady pace, a non-demanding message. These elements create an environment of safety. Safety allows updating. Updating changes automatic responses. Automatic responses shape daily reality. This is why subtle changes feel powerful later. You wake up reacting differently. You do not know why. There is no effort involved. Effort belongs to the conscious mind. Transformation belongs to the deeper one. Many people try to change the subconscious through force. They repeat affirmations with tension. They demand results. This creates resistance. Resistance keeps patterns in place. The subconscious does not respond to commands. It responds to permission. Permission is given through calm exposure. Listening while resting gives that permission. There is no pressure, no urgency. Urgency signals danger. Danger closes the subconscious. Calm opens it. As you listen now, the words are not trying to convince you. They are creating a tone. Tone matters more than meaning here. Meaning reaches the conscious mind. Tone reaches the subconscious. That is why delivery matters. Your subconscious listens to rhythm, to softness, to consistency. When it hears safety repeatedly, it relaxes. When it relaxes, it reorganizes. Reorganization replaces outdated patterns. Patterns that no longer serve you weaken. They do not disappear suddenly. They lose influence. Influence shifts quietly. You may notice you pause before reacting. You may notice tension dissolves faster. These are signs of subconscious change. The subconscious prefers gradual updates. Sudden change feels unstable. Stability matters. Stability allows trust. Trust allows deeper shifts. This is why listening over time matters. Not to force change, to allow familiarity. Familiar messages feel trustworthy. Trust opens deeper layers. Deeper layers hold core beliefs. Core beliefs shape identity. Identity shapes reality. Quiet transformation begins here. You do not need to monitor this process. Monitoring activates the conscious mind. Let the process stay quiet. Quiet processes are powerful. Your subconscious has one main goal: balance. When patterns create stress, imbalance appears. The subconscious looks for resolution. Calm input offers resolution. It gives the mind an alternative state. Over time, the mind chooses ease. Ease becomes default. Default states shape perception. Perception shapes experience. This is how inner change becomes outer change. Without effort, without struggle. You may drift in and out of awareness while listening. This is ideal. Awareness is not required. Your subconscious remains receptive. Sleep is not absence. It is reorganization. While you sleep, memory consolidates. Emotional weight adjusts. This process blends new patterns with old ones. Blending feels natural. Nothing feels forced. That is why change feels like it came from you. Because it did. Your mind chose it. You did not push it. This builds trust in yourself. Trust reduces fear. Reduced fear changes behavior. Behavior changes reality. You do not need to believe in the subconscious for it to work. It works regardless. Just as digestion works without belief, just as healing works without awareness. Your role is simple. Create a calm environment. Rest. Listen. Allow repetition. The rest happens naturally. Your subconscious is intelligent. It knows how to integrate what you need. It ignores what you do not. There is no risk in listening, only gentle influence. As this chapter continues to play, allow yourself to sink deeper into rest. Let the words fade into background. Background influence is enough. Quiet transformation is already happening. Not loudly, not dramatically, softly, naturally. And over time you will notice that life feels different. Not because you tried, but because your mind learned a new way to be. Chapter 5. Letting go of control and allowing change. Control feels comforting. It gives a sense of safety, a sense of certainty. But control often blocks the very change you want. The mind that tries to control is alert. It watches closely. It evaluates constantly. Evaluation creates tension. Tension signals danger. Danger activates defense. Defense resists change. This is why letting go of control matters. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means trusting a deeper process. Your mind has more than one mode. One mode tries to manage. Another mode allows. Allowing is quiet. Allowing does not analyze. It receives. This mode becomes active during rest. During sleep, control fades. The mind stops checking. This space, change happens naturally. Many people try to guide change with effort. They track progress. They judge results. Judgment keeps the mind awake. Awake minds resist. Change prefers softness. Softness signals safety. Safety allows openness. Openness allows reorganization. Letting go of control is not about doing nothing. It is about not interfering. Think of it like planting a seed. You do not dig it up daily to check growth. You water it. You give it light. Then you let nature work. Your mind works the same way. Calm exposure is water. Repetition is light. Control digs up the seed. Trust lets it grow. When you listen while resting, you are not trying to achieve. You are creating conditions. Conditions matter more than commands. Your deeper mind responds to conditions. A gentle voice, a slow pace, no demands. These conditions say it is safe to change. Safe change integrates smoothly. Smooth integration feels effortless. Effort creates friction. Friction creates resistance. Resistance slows change. Letting go removes friction. Another reason control blocks change is identity attachment. Control protects identity. Identity resists alteration. When control relaxes, identity softens. Soft identity can evolve. Evolution feels natural. Forced change feels threatening. Your mind avoids threat. When change feels non-threatening, it proceeds. Letting go also reduces inner conflict. Conflict drains energy. Energy is needed for integration. Integration builds new patterns. New patterns shape reality. Another challenge is impatience. Control often comes from wanting fast results. Speed creates pressure. Pressure creates tension. Tension blocks absorption. Slow change feels safer. Safety allows depth. Depth creates lasting change. You are not racing. There is no deadline. Your mind changes at its own pace. Respecting that pace is confidence. Confidence trusts process. Another misunderstanding is that letting go means losing direction. Direction still exists. It is set by repetition. Direction comes from what you expose your mind to regularly. Listening consistently sets direction gently. No force required. Another reason control feels necessary is fear of uncertainty. Uncertainty feels uncomfortable, but uncertainty is where growth happens. Growth requires flexibility. Flexibility requires release. Release allows learning. Another aspect of letting go is body relaxation. The body holds control as tension. Relaxation signals release. As you rest, your muscles soften. Your breathing slows. These signals reach the mind. The mind mirrors the body. Body, relaxed mind. Relaxed mind allows change. Another important idea is that control is often unconscious. You may not notice it. It shows up as effort, as checking, as analyzing. Noticing is enough. Once noticed, control loosens naturally. You do not need to force release. Forcing release is still control. Gentle awareness dissolves it. This audiobook is designed to bypass control. No instructions, no pressure, just presence. Presence is powerful. Presence allows things to unfold. Another benefit of letting go is trust. Trust in your mind. Your mind has adapted your entire life. It has learned skills. It has healed wounds. It knows how to change. You do not need to supervise it. Supervision creates tension. Trust creates ease. Ease supports change. Another challenge is fear of losing self. People fear change will erase who they are. Real change does not erase. It integrates. Integration feels like becoming more yourself, more aligned, less conflicted. Letting go allows alignment. Alignment reduces effort. Reduced effort increases clarity. Clarity shapes decisions. Decisions shape reality. Another helpful idea is reframing effort. Effort belongs to action, not identity. You can act when awake. You can allow when resting. Both have their place. You are not choosing one forever. You are balancing. Balance supports well-being. Another challenge is surrender feeling passive. Surrender here is active trust. Trust requires courage. Courage allows release. Release allows change. Another important idea is that control blocks listening. When you control, you do not receive fully. Receiving is required for change. Letting go opens reception. Another benefit is reduced inner noise. Control creates mental chatter. Release quiets it. Quiet allows deeper messages to land. Deep messages shape belief. Belief shapes behavior. Behavior shapes reality. This is the chain. As you continue listening, notice the absence of demand. Nothing is asked of you. No task, no goal, just rest. Rest is productive here. It is the most productive state for inner change. As you drift, allow control to soften. If thoughts appear, let them pass. No need to engage. Engagement brings control back. Allow thoughts to float by. This is practice. Practice without effort. Over time, letting go becomes familiar. Familiarity reduces fear. Fear reduction creates ease. Ease allows lasting change. You do not need to hurry. Change is already happening, quietly, naturally, and your only role is to allow it. Chapter 6. Creating a safe inner environment for change. Change begins where safety exists. Without safety, the mind protects. With safety, the mind opens. Your inner environment matters more than your goal. It shapes how you receive experience. It shapes how you adapt. When your inner environment feels rushed or tense, change feels difficult. When it feels calm and steady, change feels natural. Safety is not created by words alone. It is created by signals. Your nervous system listens constantly. It reads tone. It reads pace. It reads rhythm. These signals tell it whether to stay guarded or to relax. When you are awake and busy, signals are mixed. Deadlines, noise, expectations. At night, signals simplify. Darkness, stillness, quiet. This simplicity allows safety to emerge. A safe inner environment does not demand improvement. It does not judge current state. It allows what is. Allowance reduces resistance. Resistance blocks change. When resistance fades, learning begins. Your body plays a key role in safety. When the body relaxes, the mind follows. Slow breathing signals calm. Relaxed muscles signal ease. These signals reach deep layers of the mind. Deep layers shape belief. Belief shapes behavior. Behavior shapes reality. This is why physical rest matters so much. Listening while resting combines sound and safety. Sound creates direction. Safety allows absorption. Together they reshape patterns. Your mind remembers environments. If learning happened in stress before, stress becomes linked to growth. That makes growth feel hard. This audiobook creates a different association. Learning with calm, change with ease. This new association matters. Your mind updates based on experience, not logic. When it experiences learning without pressure, it prefers that method. Over time, your mind begins to expect ease. Expectation shapes reaction. Reactions soften. Soft reactions create better outcomes. Another important part of safety is emotional neutrality. No urgency, no demand. Urgency tells the mind something is wrong. Neutrality tells the mind things are okay. Okay is enough for growth. Growth does not need alarm. It needs permission. Permission comes from safety. You may notice that when you feel safe, creativity appears. Insight appears. This is not coincidence. Safety frees cognitive resources. Freed resources explore. Exploration leads to new options. New options change behavior. Behavior shifts reality. A safe inner environment also allows emotional release. Emotions held tightly create tension. Tension narrows perception. When safety is present, emotions soften. They move through instead of staying stuck. Movement creates relief. Relief creates clarity. Clarity supports change. Another reason safety matters is memory integration. During sleep, the mind sorts experiences. It decides what to keep and what to release. Safety influences these decisions. In calm states, the mind integrates more effectively. It connects new ideas with old memories. This blending creates coherence. Coherence feels stable. Stability allows change to stick. Without stability, changes feel temporary. Safety builds stability. Your mind is not trying to sabotage you. It is trying to protect you. When protection is no longer needed, adaptation resumes. Listening in a safe state tells the mind that protection can relax. Relaxation frees energy. Energy supports growth. Another important idea is consistency of safety. One calm moment helps. Repeated calm moments reshape baselines. Baselines define normal. When calm becomes normal, stress loses influence. Stress no longer controls reaction. Reactions shape reality less dramatically. Life feels smoother. This is not because problems disappear. It is because your response changes. Response determines experience. Another subtle benefit of safety is trust in self. When change happens gently, you trust it. Trust reduces fear. Fear reduction supports further change. This creates a positive loop. Change becomes self-reinforcing. Another challenge many people face is inner criticism. Criticism feels unsafe. It creates threat signals. Threat blocks learning. A safe inner environment is non-critical. It observes without judgment. Judgment freezes patterns. Observation allows movement. As you listen now, notice the absence of evaluation. Nothing is being measured. Nothing is being scored. This is intentional. Measurement activates effort. Effort activates control. Control blocks absorption. Safety allows absorption. Your mind absorbs tone even when content fades. That is enough. The tone of calm matters. Calm tones tell the mind it can rest. Rest is productive here. Rest allows reorganization. Reorganization updates identity. Identity shapes reality. Another important aspect of safety is predictability. Predictable rhythm reduces alertness. Alertness fades. Receptivity increases. This is why steady pacing matters. Sudden changes wake the mind. Steady flow keeps it open. Open states integrate more. Integration lasts longer. You may drift in and out of awareness. This is natural. Awareness is not required. Safety does not depend on attention. It depends on environment. The environment is already set. Your only role is to rest. Rest supports safety. Safety supports change. This is a natural sequence. You do not need to force it. Force removes safety. Allowing preserves it. As this chapter continues, allow yourself to settle deeper. Let muscles soften. Let thoughts pass. Nothing needs to happen now. Change unfolds quietly. The safest changes are the ones you barely notice. They become part of you. And from that place, reality begins to shift without effort. Chapter 7. How identity softens while you sleep. Identity feels solid when you are awake. It feels like a fixed structure, a set of traits, a story you live inside. But identity is not as rigid as it seems. It is maintained by repetition, by habits of thought, by emotional patterns. When these patterns pause, identity softens. Sleep creates that pause. During sleep, the mind loosens its grip on labels. You are not trying to be strong. You are not trying to be successful. You are not trying to be anything. You simply are. This state matters. Identity resists change when it feels threatened. Threat comes from effort. Effort implies something is wrong. When something feels wrong, identity defends itself. Defense strengthens old patterns. But when effort disappears, identity relaxes. Relaxed identity becomes flexible. Flexibility allows transformation. This is why deep change often happens when you stop trying. Sleep removes effort naturally. Your conscious self steps aside. Your deeper self takes over. This deeper self is not concerned with labels. It is concerned with balance. Balance feels safe. Safety allows updating. While you sleep, your mind reviews experiences. It reorganizes meaning. It connects ideas. During this process, identity is adjusted quietly. Old roles loosen. New possibilities appear, not dramatically, subtly.
You may wake up feeling slightly different.
Not because you decided to change, because your mind adjusted the story. Stories shape behavior. Behavior shapes reality. When identity softens, you are less attached to old reactions. You pause more easily. You respond differently. These changes feel natural. No inner conflict, no struggle, just a different baseline. Identity softening does not erase who you are. It removes rigidity. You remain yourself, but with more room. Room for ease. Room for new choices. Many people fear losing themselves. They fear change will take something away. True change adds flexibility. It adds options. Options create freedom. Freedom feels light. Lightness changes how life feels. When identity is rigid, mistakes feel threatening. Judgment feels personal. Change feels dangerous. When identity is soft, experiences pass through more easily. Nothing sticks too tightly. This reduces stress. Reduced stress improves clarity. Clarity supports better decisions. Better decisions shape reality. Sleep naturally creates this softness. The mind stops rehearsing identity roles. It stops reinforcing labels. In this space, new associations form. Calm becomes familiar. Safety becomes normal. When calm feels normal, identity shifts toward ease. You become someone who expects calm. Expectation guides perception. Perception guides experience. This is how inner change becomes outer change. You do not need to imagine a new identity. You do not need to define it. Definition creates pressure. Pressure reactivates control. Allowing lets identity evolve organically. Evolution feels natural. Natural change lasts. Another important aspect of identity softening is emotional flexibility. Emotions become less fixed. You feel without being consumed. This emotional freedom changes behavior. You choose instead of react. Choice creates agency. Agency strengthens confidence. Confidence shapes interactions. Interactions shape reality. All of this happens quietly. You do not feel identity shifting moment by moment. You feel the result later. A calmer response, a different choice, a lighter mood. These are signs of inner reorganization. The mind prefers subtle updates. Sudden change feels unstable. Gradual softening feels safe. Safety allows depth. Depth creates lasting change. This is why sleep-based listening works best over time. Night after night, identity relaxes. Old patterns lose grip. New patterns feel natural. You do not fight the old self. You outgrow it. Outgrowing does not hurt. It feels like relief. Relief signals alignment. Alignment reduces effort. Reduced effort changes how life flows. As you listen now, you are not shaping identity consciously. You are allowing space. Space is enough. In space, the mind rearranges itself. You may drift deeper into sleep. This is perfect. Your deeper mind is still active. It listens to rhythm, to calm tone, to repetition. These elements encourage softness. Soft identity adapts easily. Adaptation creates resilience. Resilience improves life experience. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be fixed. Your mind knows how to update itself when given room. Sleep gives that room. Listening supports direction. Together they create gentle transformation. As this chapter continues, allow identity to rest. Let roles fade. Let labels soften. There is nothing to hold on to right now. Only rest. And in that rest, quiet change continues, without effort. Chapter 8. How calm expectations shape your future. Expectations guide experience. They sit quietly in the background. They influence how you interpret what happens. Most expectations are not chosen. They are learned. They come from repetition, from emotional patterns, from past outcomes. When expectations are tense, life feels heavy. When expectations are calm, life feels lighter. Sleep is where expectations reset. During the day, expectations stay active. They scan for problems. They prepare reactions. At night, this scanning slows. The mind releases its grip on prediction. This pause matters. When prediction rests, new expectations can form. Calm input during this time shapes future anticipation. Anticipation affects perception. Perception affects behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. This chain operates quietly. If you expect difficulty, your body prepares for struggle. Muscles tighten. Breath shortens. If you expect ease, your body stays open. Open bodies respond more effectively. Effectiveness improves outcomes. This is not optimism. It is physiology. Your nervous system responds to expectation. Listening while resting introduces calm expectations gently. No demands, no warnings, just steady tone. Tone communicates safety. Safety tells the mind there is no need to prepare for threat. Preparation fades. When preparation fades, stress lowers. Lower stress changes interpretation. Situations feel more manageable, not because they changed, because your baseline did. Calm expectations do not deny challenges. They change how challenges are met. Instead of resistance, there is response. Response feels controlled. Control reduces anxiety. Reduced anxiety supports clarity. Clarity improves decisions. Decisions shape reality. Expectations also affect time perception. When you expect stress, time feels rushed. When you expect calm, time feels spacious. Spacious time allows better choices. Sleep-based listening stretches inner time. It slows internal rhythm. Slow rhythm becomes familiar. Familiar rhythm becomes default. Default rhythm influences waking life. You may notice you rush less. You pause more. Pausing changes outcomes. Pausing allows awareness. Awareness supports alignment. Alignment reduces friction. Reduced friction changes how life feels. Expectations also shape emotional tone. If you expect disappointment, you guard yourself. Guarding limits connection. Calm expectations allow openness. Openness improves relationships. Improved relationships change daily experience. Again, quietly, expectations do not announce themselves. They operate silently. This makes them powerful. Changing expectations through force is difficult. Force increases vigilance. Vigilance strengthens old patterns. Gentle exposure works better. Calm repetition introduces new normal. Normal shapes expectation. Expectation shapes reaction. Reaction shapes experience. This loop becomes self-reinforcing. Positive loops replace stressful ones. Sleep enhances this process. During sleep, the mind consolidates emotional learning. It reviews patterns. It updates predictions. Calm input influences these updates. Over time, your mind predicts safety more often. This does not mean nothing goes wrong. It means your system does not overreact. Overreaction drains energy. Calm response conserves energy. Conserved energy improves resilience. Resilience supports long-term change. You may notice that mornings feel different, not dramatic, softer. This softness comes from expectation shift. You expect the day to unfold without threat. This expectation guides posture, breathing, attention. Small changes accumulate. Accumulation reshapes reality. Expectations also influence attention. You notice what you expect. If you expect danger, you see problems. If you expect calm, you notice ease. Ease has always existed. It becomes visible when expected. Visibility reinforces belief. Belief strengthens expectation. The loop continues. Listening while sleeping introduces calm beliefs. Gently. Beliefs do not need argument. They need exposure. Exposure during rest bypasses resistance. Resistance dissolves. Dissolved resistance allows belief change. Belief change shapes expectation. Expectation shapes experience. This is the structure of transformation. Nothing forced, nothing rushed. You may drift in and out of awareness. This is fine. Your deeper mind is absorbing rhythm and tone. Tone sets expectation. Expectation sets baseline. Baseline shapes life. You do not need to visualize outcomes. You do not need to imagine success. Imagining requires effort. Effort wakes the mind. Sleep prefers softness. Softness carries influence. Influence grows through repetition. Night after night, calm expectation settles. It becomes familiar. Familiar expectations guide waking behavior. Behavior changes naturally. Natural change lasts. You may find yourself less surprised by ease, more tolerant of uncertainty. Tolerance reduces stress. Reduced stress increases clarity. Clarity improves quality of life. This is how expectations work. They quietly prepare you for experience. Calm expectations prepare you well. As you continue resting, allow the idea of ease to settle, not as a goal, as a background assumption. Assumptions shape perception. Perception shapes experience. Experience shapes reality. Let calm be assumed. Let effort fade. Your mind knows how to adjust. It always has. And as calm expectations become your new normal, reality responds. Not with force, with flow, without effort. Chapter 9. How letting the mind wander supports change. The mind wanders naturally. It drifts. It moves from one thought to another. Many people try to stop this. They believe wandering means distraction. They believe focus is always better. But wandering has a purpose. When the mind wanders, it connects ideas. It explores without pressure. It relaxes boundaries. This relaxed state is powerful. During the day, wandering is often interrupted. Tasks demand attention. Deadlines pull focus. At night, wandering is welcome. Sleep invites it. In this state, the mind does not follow strict paths. It moves freely. Free movement allows new connections. New connections create insight. Insight reshapes belief. Belief shapes behavior. Behavior shapes reality. This chain begins with freedom. When you listen while resting, your mind wanders naturally. Words drift in and out. Images appear. Thoughts fade. This is not a problem. It is a sign of receptivity. Receptivity allows influence. Influence does not need control. Control limits creativity. Creativity opens possibilities. Possibilities change how life unfolds. Wandering also reduces pressure to understand. Understanding requires effort. Effort wakes the mind. Wandering keeps the mind soft. Soft minds absorb tone and rhythm. Tone and rhythm guide emotion. Emotion shapes memory. Memory shapes expectation. Expectation shapes response. Response shapes experience. This is why wandering supports change. Another benefit of wandering is emotional processing. When the mind drifts, emotions surface gently. They are not forced. They are not analyzed. They pass through. This release reduces emotional weight. Reduced weight frees energy. Freed energy supports clarity. Clarity improves choices. Choices shape reality. Wandering also allows identity loosening. Without focused thought, labels fade. You are not rehearsing who you are. You are simply experiencing. This simplicity matters. Identity softening allows flexibility. Flexibility supports adaptation. Adaptation is change. Change feels natural here. Another important aspect is memory integration. The wandering mind blends old and new experiences. It reorganizes meaning. This reorganization happens during rest. Listening provides gentle material. Material blends with memory. Memory updates quietly. Quiet updates last. When you try to direct thought, integration slows. When you allow drift, integration accelerates. Acceleration does not feel intense. It feels easy. Ease is a sign of alignment. Alignment reduces resistance. Resistance blocks change. Wandering bypasses resistance. Another reason wandering helps is reduced self-monitoring. When you monitor, you judge. Judgment creates tension. Tension blocks learning. Wandering dissolves monitoring. Without monitoring, learning deepens. This is why children learn so quickly. Their minds wander freely. They absorb patterns without judgment. Sleep returns you to this state. Listening during this state uses that openness. There is no demand to remember, no demand to perform, just exposure. Exposure is enough. Your deeper mind listens even when attention drifts. It notices repetition. It notices calm. Calm repetition builds familiarity. Familiarity creates comfort. Comfort supports change. Another benefit of wandering is perspective shift. When the mind drifts, it steps back. Problems feel smaller. Tension softens. This shift reduces emotional intensity. Lower intensity improves decision-making. Decision-making affects reality. You may wake with a different outlook. Not because you solved anything, because your mind reorganized. Reorganization does not announce itself. It shows up as ease. Ease feels like effortlessness. Effortlessness changes behavior. Another important idea is trust. Allowing wandering means trusting your mind. Trust reduces control. Reduced control allows deeper processes. These processes know what to do. They have guided learning your entire life. You do not need to supervise them now. Another challenge people face is fear of losing awareness. They think drifting means losing progress. Progress here does not depend on attention. It depends on consistency. Consistency works even when awareness fades. Your deeper mind stays present. It responds to rhythm and tone. These signals continue even when words blur. This is why falling asleep is fine. Sleep is not interruption. It is continuation. Your mind continues integrating. Integration is the goal. Another benefit of wandering is creativity. New ideas form without effort. Creative insights often appear after rest. Rest allows wandering. Wandering allows insight. Insight changes perception. Perception shapes reality. Another reason wandering supports change is emotional neutrality. Without focused thought, emotional spikes flatten. Flattened emotion feels stable. Stability allows learning. Learning updates belief. Belief shapes expectation. Expectation shapes experience. You do not need to guide wandering. Trying to guide reintroduces control. Let it happen. If you notice drifting, allow it. Allowance maintains openness. Openness allows absorption. Another important idea is that wandering trains tolerance for uncertainty. Uncertainty becomes less threatening. Tolerance reduces anxiety. Reduced anxiety improves life quality. This change happens quietly. No affirmations required. No focus required. Just exposure. Another benefit is body relaxation. Wandering minds allow bodies to relax. Relaxed bodies signal safety. Safety allows change. Another aspect is time distortion. When the mind wanders, time feels different. This reduces urgency. Urgency blocks absorption. Reduced urgency supports integration. Another helpful idea is noticing that wandering comes in waves. Sometimes attention returns, sometimes it fades. All of it works. There is no correct state, only rest. Another important idea is that wandering supports memory pruning. Unnecessary stress memories weaken. This lightens emotional load. Lightened load feels freeing. Freedom allows new patterns. Another reason wandering helps is it breaks rigid loops. Rigid loops maintain old beliefs. Wandering disrupts them. Disruption allows reorganization. Reorganization updates identity. Identity shapes reality. Another challenge is the urge to wake up to track progress. Tracking reactivates effort. Effort blocks the process. Trust replaces tracking. Trust allows flow. Another important idea is that wandering aligns with natural sleep cycles. It respects rhythm. Rhythm supports harmony. Harmony supports change. As you rest now, allow your mind to drift. There is nowhere to go, nothing to accomplish. Your mind is doing exactly what it needs to do, wandering gently, connecting quietly, updating softly, without effort. And in this quiet movement, change continues, not loudly, not forcefully, naturally. Chapter 10. How quiet confidence forms without trying. Confidence often feels like something you must build, something you must practice hard, something you must prove. But there is another kind of confidence, a quiet one. This confidence does not come from effort. It comes from stability. Stability forms when the mind feels safe, when reactions soften, when inner pressure fades. This kind of confidence grows while you rest. It grows when you are not watching it. During sleep, your mind is not performing. It is not comparing. It is not judging. It is reorganizing. Reorganization builds coherence. Coherence feels like calm certainty. Calm certainty is confidence. This confidence does not announce itself. It does not push forward. It does not demand attention. It simply stays. When your baseline shifts toward calm, reactions change. You pause instead of rushing. You respond instead of reacting. These moments feel natural. You do not think, I am confident now. You simply act differently. That difference shapes outcomes. Quiet confidence also comes from reduced inner conflict. When you stop fighting yourself, energy returns. Energy supports presence. Presence improves communication. Improved communication strengthens relationships. Stronger relationships reinforce confidence. This loop builds itself. Effort is not required. Another source of quiet confidence is emotional regulation. When emotions move freely, they do not overwhelm. Overwhelm creates doubt. Regulation creates trust. Trust builds confidence. Listening while sleeping supports regulation. Calm tone trains calm response. Calm response becomes default. Default responses define identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes reality. This is the path confidence takes here. Quiet confidence also grows from familiarity. When calm states repeat, they become normal. Normal feels safe. Safe feels confident. Confidence feels steady. Steady confidence does not depend on success. It survives mistakes. It does not collapse under pressure. Pressure feels manageable. Manageable pressure supports growth. Another important aspect is self-acceptance. When you rest, you are not trying to improve. You are allowing yourself to be. This allowance sends a powerful signal. You are enough. This signal quiets doubt. Quiet doubt allows confidence. Confidence built on acceptance lasts longer than confidence built on achievement. Achievement-based confidence rises and falls. Acceptance-based confidence stays. Sleep encourages acceptance naturally. There is nothing to prove while you rest. This state teaches your mind a new lesson. Worth does not require effort. When worth feels stable, confidence grows. Quiet confidence also appears as patience. You feel less rushed. Less rushed decisions are often better. Better decisions improve outcomes. Improved outcomes reinforce confidence. Again, quietly. Another benefit is reduced comparison. During rest, you are not measuring yourself. Comparison fuels insecurity. Absence of comparison creates peace. Peace supports confidence. This peace carries into waking life. You may notice you care less about judgment. Not because you stopped caring, because you feel grounded. Grounded people are harder to shake. Another subtle sign of quiet confidence is comfort with silence. Silence no longer feels threatening. Threat creates insecurity. Comfort creates confidence. This comfort transfers to conversations and choices. You do not rush to fill space. You trust yourself. Trust is confidence. Another source of confidence is alignment. When your inner state matches your actions, tension disappears. Tension drains confidence. Alignment restores it. Sleep allows alignment by resetting inner rhythms. Reset rhythms feel balanced. Balanced states feel confident. Another important idea is that confidence grows indirectly. Trying to be confident creates pressure. Pressure undermines confidence. Letting confidence form as a byproduct works better. This audiobook supports that. It does not tell you to be confident. It creates conditions where confidence appears naturally. Conditions matter. Tone, rhythm, consistency. These elements reshape baseline. Baseline defines experience. Another challenge people face is mistaking confidence for excitement. Excitement is unstable. Quiet confidence is calm. Calm lasts longer. Calm adapts better. Another sign of quiet confidence is resilience. You recover faster. Recovery builds trust in yourself. Trust deepens confidence. This trust is built through experience. Experience accumulates during rest. Rest integrates learning. Integration stabilizes identity. Stable identity feels confident. Another benefit is clarity. Calm minds see options. Seeing options reduces fear. Reduced fear supports action. Action guided by calm feels confident. Another important idea is patience with self. You judge yourself less. Less judgment creates space. Space allows growth. Growth strengthens confidence. Another sign is body relaxation. Relaxed posture. Easier breathing. Body and mind mirror each other. Relaxed body signals safety. Safety supports confidence. Another benefit is intuitive decision-making. When the mind is calm, intuition becomes clearer. Clear intuition reduces doubt. Reduced doubt feels confident. Another aspect is emotional consistency. Mood swings reduce. Consistency feels stable. Stability feels confident. This is not emotional numbness. It is balance. Balance supports long-term change. Another challenge is fear returning occasionally. Fear may appear. Quiet confidence does not fight fear. It allows it. Allowing prevents escalation. Preventing escalation preserves confidence. Another important idea is that confidence becomes background. You stop thinking about it. Background confidence supports action. Action shapes reality. Reality reflects inner state. This reflection reinforces confidence. The loop continues. You do not need to check if confidence is forming. Checking reactivates effort. Effort disrupts the process. Trust it. Your mind knows how to stabilize. It has been doing this your entire life. You are simply giving it calm material. Material shapes structure. Structure shapes behavior. Behavior shapes life. As you continue resting, allow this quiet confidence to settle. It does not need attention. It does not need praise. It simply integrates. When you wake, you may not notice it immediately, but you will notice reactions soften. Choices feel clearer. Pressure feels lighter. These are signs confidence is forming. Not loudly, not forcefully, but steadily, without effort, and it will stay with you. Chapter 11. How inner resistance dissolves while you rest. Resistance is not your enemy. It is a signal. It appears when the mind feels pushed, when change feels forced, when something feels unsafe. Most resistance is unconscious. You do not choose it. It activates automatically. During the day, resistance stays alert. It watches. It protects familiar patterns. Familiar does not always mean comfortable. It means known. The mind prefers what it knows. This is why change feels difficult when you are awake. The mind guards old structures. Sleep changes this. When you rest, resistance loses energy. The part of the mind that defends relaxes. There is nothing to fight, nothing to resist. In this state, resistance dissolves naturally. Dissolving does not mean forcing it away. It means removing the pressure that keeps it active. Pressure feeds resistance. Rest removes pressure. This is why listening while sleeping works gently. There is no demand to agree, no demand to improve, no demand to act. Without demand, resistance has no role. It steps aside. When resistance steps aside, new ideas pass through easily. They are not evaluated. They are not compared. They are simply received. Reception allows integration. Integration changes patterns. Patterns shape reactions. Reactions shape experience. This is the quiet path of change. Resistance also lives in the body. Tight muscles, held breath, restless tension. Sleep relaxes the body. Relaxed body signals safety. Safety tells the mind there is no threat. No threat means no resistance. This body-mind connection is powerful. You do not need to talk to resistance. You do not need to challenge it. You only need to create safety. Safety does the work. As you rest now, your nervous system settles. Heart rate slows. Breath deepens. These signals tell the mind it can release control. Control and resistance are linked. When control fades, resistance follows. This is why effort-based change fails. Effort increases control. Control increases resistance. Rest-based change removes both. Another reason resistance dissolves during sleep is reduced identity attachment. Identity protects itself when awake. During sleep, identity softens. Soft identity does not resist updates. It adapts. Adaptation feels natural. No inner conflict. No exhaustion. Just quiet adjustment. Resistance also dissolves when the mind feels respected. This audiobook does not argue with you. It does not correct you. It does not say you are wrong. It simply offers calm presence. Presence feels respectful. Respect reduces defensiveness. Defensiveness fuels resistance. When defensiveness fades, openness appears. Openness allows change. Another subtle factor is time perception. During rest, time stretches. Urgency disappears. Urgency activates resistance. Without urgency, the mind does not rush to protect. Protection relaxes. Relaxation supports learning. Learning updates beliefs. Beliefs shape behavior. Behavior shapes reality. You may notice that ideas feel less threatening at night. Thoughts that felt heavy during the day feel lighter. This is resistance loosening. Loosened resistance allows flexibility. Flexibility creates options. Options reduce fear. Fear feeds resistance. This loop unwinds naturally during rest. You do not need to manage it. Managing is effort. Effort wakes resistance. Let rest do the work. Another sign of dissolving resistance is emotional neutrality. Strong emotions fade. Neutral states allow clarity. Clarity supports integration. Integration replaces old patterns. Old patterns fade without conflict. This is important. Change without conflict lasts longer. Conflict drains energy. Energy is needed for stability. Stability supports lasting change. Another important idea is trust. When you rest, you trust your mind implicitly. You allow it to operate without supervision. This trust is felt internally. Feeling trusted reduces resistance. Resistance often forms when the mind feels controlled. Control says something is wrong. Trust says things are okay. Okay is enough for growth. You may drift deeper into sleep as this chapter continues. That is ideal. Your deeper mind remains active. It receives tone. It receives rhythm. These elements communicate safety. Safety dissolves resistance. You may not notice when resistance fades. You will notice the result later. Less pushback, less hesitation, more ease. Ease is the absence of resistance. Ease changes how you move through life. Not because you tried, because the inner guard relaxed. Another benefit of resistance dissolving is creativity. When resistance drops, ideas flow. Flow feels natural. Natural action feels confident. Confidence changes interaction. Interaction shapes reality. Another subtle change is reduced self-sabotage. Resistance often appears as delay or avoidance. When resistance fades, movement feels easier. Easier movement creates momentum. Momentum supports change. Another important aspect is compassion towards self. When resistance dissolves, self-judgment softens. Soft self-talk reduces tension. Reduced tension supports clarity. Clarity improves decisions. Decisions shape experience. This all begins with rest. Rest is not inactivity. It is recalibration. Your system recalibrates itself when given space. Space allows alignment. Alignment reduces resistance. As you continue resting, there is nothing you need to release intentionally. Release happens on its own. Your mind knows how to let go when it feels safe. Safety is already here. Tone, rhythm, stillness. These signals continue quietly. Resistance loosens. Change integrates. Effort is not required. Your only role is rest. And in this rest, inner resistance continues to dissolve. Softly, naturally. Chapter 12. Letting life shift naturally from the inside. You have reached the end of this audiobook, but nothing is ending. What you have been doing is not finishing a process. You have been starting one. Real change does not end with a final chapter. It continues quietly. It continues when you stop listening. It continues when you sleep. It continues when you wake and live your day. This is how natural change works. You have not been trying to fix yourself. You have not been forcing improvement. You have been creating space. Space allows the mind to adjust itself. Adjustment feels gentle. It feels normal. Normal is powerful. When something feels normal, it no longer requires effort. Throughout this audiobook, you have rested, you have listened, you have allowed. That is enough. Your mind has been receiving tone more than instruction, rhythm more than rules, safety more than pressure. Safety changes everything. When the mind feels safe, it reorganizes on its own. Old patterns loosen. New responses form. Not because you demanded them, because they fit better. Your mind always moves toward ease when allowed. Ease does not mean nothing happens. It means things happen without struggle. Struggle drains energy. Ease conserves it. Conserved energy supports clarity. Clarity shapes decisions. Decisions shape experience. Experience becomes reality. This chain has been unfolding quietly. You may not notice dramatic changes. That is a good sign. Lasting change rarely announces itself. It shows up in small moments. A calmer reaction, a softer thought, a pause where there used to be tension. These moments matter. They are proof of internal shift. Your inner world sets the tone for your outer life. When your inner world settles, life responds differently. Not because the world changed, because you did, and you changed without effort. That is important. Effort-based change creates fatigue. Rest-based change creates stability. Stability lasts. As you move forward, you do not need to remember everything you heard. You do not need to repeat anything consciously. Your deeper mind has already integrated what it needed. Integration feels like familiarity. Familiarity feels natural. Natural change stays. You may continue listening to this audiobook, or you may not. Both are fine. Change does not depend on constant input. It depends on what has already settled. Trust that. Trust your mind's intelligence. It has adapted your entire life. It has learned languages. It has healed wounds. It has adjusted to change again and again. You did not manage those processes. They happened when conditions were right. You have been creating those conditions here. Calm, consistency, rest. These are powerful signals. They tell the mind it is safe to evolve. Evolution does not erase you. It refines you. You remain yourself, just lighter, less guarded, more aligned. Alignment reduces friction. Reduced friction changes how life feels. Life may still bring challenges, that is normal. But your relationship with challenges can shift. You respond instead of react. You breathe instead of rush. These small differences change outcomes. Outcomes accumulate. Accumulation becomes a new reality. This reality is not forced. It unfolds. Unfolding feels like flow. Flow does not need control. It needs trust. As you continue sleeping, resting, and living, let trust replace effort. Effort belongs to tasks, not to becoming. Becoming happens when you allow yourself to be. That has been the foundation of this journey. You have done enough by resting. Nothing more is required. Let life adjust around your calmer center. Let change continue quietly. Let ease become familiar, and let your reality keep shifting, naturally, gently, without effort.